Hello, intermediate students. Today we're going to be taking a look at the count, COUNTA, and COUNTIF functions in Microsoft Excel. Let's jump into it. The count function is pretty simple. It is going to count the number of cells that contain a value, meaning numbers. So if I wanted to count the number of cells in the D column here that included a number, I would have a count function that I would put somewhere. It's a function, so of course it's going to start with equal sign, count, and then in parentheses we're going to put our range, and we're going to count all the numbers in the D column. That would be cells D1 through D12. And as it turns out, there are 5 cells that have values in it in this column. If I did that with a column that has a variety of values and words, again, it's only going to count the ones with values. So count, again, we'll do the F column, and that returns us the same number. It's not going to count the empty cells or the cells with text in them. Count A is a little bit different. Count A is going to count all the cells that are not empty. So if we did it again in the D column, count A, we would see pretty much the same result because there are 5 cells that have items in it, but over here we would see a little different result because this will count not only the cells with numbers, but also the cells with text. So when I do it here, you'll see a slightly larger number because that also counts the text ones. The more interesting formula is COUNTIF, where count counts values. I learned how to spell. And count A counts non-empty cells. Then count if is going to count for a criteria. So let's take a look at a little more complicated. Here is a list of movies that have done well at the box office. And if I wanted to find, say, all of the movies that have been science fiction movies, what I could do is I could write over here perhaps a formula that uses the COUNTIF function that's going to look for a criteria. So let's have it look through the genre field. And what are we going to look for? Let's then put a comma to separate our inputs. And for our second input, we're going to put a criteria, which is going to be sci-fi movies. And in this case, we find 5 sci-fi movies from the list. But I'm curious, let's see if we have more superhero movies. Let's try it again. Again, we're going to do COUNTIF. And in parentheses, we're going to put our range first. And that's going to be looking at our genres separated with a comma, and our criteria for the second one is superhero movies. And as it turns out, more superhero movies have made the top 20 box office grossing movies than sci-fi have. So there is the count, COUNTIF, and COUNTA functions. Have a good day.